My name is Francesca Frankie Altamura, and I'm a New York-based curator and organizer in conversation with Paris-based artist Sybil Montet, who is participating in Control the Virus Volume 3, a year-long digital exhibition curated by Martin Mayorga and Vanessa Morel, founders of Data Eagle Art, and Zaiba Jabbar, artist and founder of Her Visions. Thanks so much, Sybil, for speaking with me. I wanted to first begin by asking you a general question. What is the work that you've created about? Can you describe some of the elements specifically? I was just given the preview this morning, so it's been great to see that there are, this coding matrix on the side. There is a white female woman avatar and some sort of more elemental explosion type vibes. So in your words, can you explain what we are seeing?
Okay, so firstly, the artwork is twofold, let's say. There is the actual CGI video essay that is some kind of, I call it some kind of contemplative drift, And the second part of the experience is an actual, let's say, discussion zone with an AI that we have, me and my coder, we have fine-tuned to incarnate or deepfake some kind of oracular entity that could tell the future, or at least would be prone to tell the future. Globally, the work being the video or this interface with an AI, it's to explore something that is pretty ongoing in my work, but it's the first time that I work with AI, so with such a precise workflow and framework and everything. But yeah, it's exploring some really ongoing research in my work, in the fact that how can some mystical traditions and projections could be applied and could be expanded by technology. So that's why, for example, in my video essay, it's very, as you said, elemental, extremely full of natural forces, tornadoes, fire, and these kind of forces are put in mirror, let's say, with digital avatars, totally generated by AI, voices generated by AI, and a discourse, a premise that is pretty poetical, even a bit cryptic, around some personal questions and research about the fact that how can some mystical tradition, but also just some more fundamental energies could be still well alive and very very active in the scope of a technological age.
AI is such a hot topic right now. I'm sure your research has just delved into so many future predictions for its use. Definitely want to come back to that, but I do want to touch on that we're recording this Q&A on March 3rd. Obviously, Control the Virus has been debuting at the beginning of each month. And I just wanted to talk about, why we're a bit delayed. Obviously, we're now facing a war in Ukraine from Russia. And I just wanted to hear how you're doing, what your thoughts are on that, what sensitivities there are in debuting the work.
Yeah, so firstly, what I will say might sound a bit extreme, but there's a war in Ukraine right now, and airstrikes and everything, and it's terrible. But when you try to search for ongoing airstrikes in the world or wars in the world, there is airstrikes almost every day in Somalia, Yemen, everything. So the situation is horrible. Everybody is extremely involved, but I find it in a way a little bit sneaky to forget a part of the world, and when it's part of Europe and the Western world, everybody is. So I am absolutely not diminishing the suffering of people in Ukraine. I totally condemn everything that is happening there. But yes, war is everywhere, and so I think it's important not to forget it, because there is people suffering all around the world. So yeah, other than this, but it was very important for me to point it. We decided to delay a bit the release of my work, because mostly it feels that emotionally people are not really, they're in shock, and I don't feel relevant right now to, even if I feel it's important to, even more in case of terrible situations like this, to have some kind of escape. I prefer to wait a bit, that people are, it's terrible to say, but used to the situation and are able to be emotionally available again, because right now it's just a tremor and everybody is under shock state, it's PTSD all around. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. It's totally an excellent point. And of course, solidarity with the Ukrainians, the Somalians, and the Syrians and Afghanis facing terrible wars. I'm there with you. I wonder, circling back to your work, can you describe what kind of research you put in to create it? I mean, artificial intelligence has so many predictions in trying to foresee what's in our future to come. I don't know what specific thread you're honing in on for the work, but that would be interesting to hear.
But it's pretty convoluted and complex, as you noted. There is a lot of layers, but talking focusing on the artificial intelligence area, let's say, it's mostly that in all my research, I've come to some premise that artificial intelligence and high-end technologies could be some legacy and some continuity of magical and energetic practice, or at least can be tools. So for example, that's why for this piece, so the global piece is Ice Cry. The film is called like this, but also the web experience. And so we coded this AI based on GPT-3. So it's an algorithm that was created by Google Artificial Intelligence Lab called OpenAI. And so this algorithm was trained on a huge amount of internet. So being a conversation by random people, Wikipedia, strange websites, news media, everything. And so strangely, when you interact with this algorithm, his language processing and language generating abilities can be mesmerizing. I went a bit further. I thought, okay, could we use AI as some kind of future telling entity? That's how I call it. Because corporations and companies and everything are using predictive analytics and AIs in their strategies, in their modelings to grow their business or their corporations. Predictive modelings are used everywhere. And so I thought, if we could use these predictive abilities of AI, but for personal needs, to have your own, or let's say, not your own, but to be able to tap into some knowledge from something that is non-human, that at the same time is hyper connected to the information ecosystem that surrounds the soul, let's say AI. And so yeah, it's it's yes, to have some kind of more close relationship to the powers of AI, because okay, there is a lot of issues and it's a black box and it has bias and we all know this, but there is also incredible powers. And for example, the next iteration of my work with the mystical properties of AI is to make some kind of AI Ouija, so to talk with the spirit world, but it will come later. It needs more coding and it's dangerous. So yeah.
That's fascinating. I've actually never used a Ouija board, but I love the thought of it. And I've always thought that they don't sell them in toy stores. You can't just buy a new Ouija board. It has to really come to you. So as a wrap-up question, I was wondering, to what extent do you believe in these age-old mystic practices? Do you get your cards read, for example? Do you believe in energies? And obviously, these are very personal things, so feel free to answer as much or as little as you believe in, but it would be fascinating to hear.
Actually, I could even say that it's not for me a question of believing or not. It's more a question of scope. For me, having, let's say, multiple layers of vision on reality is natural, you know. At the same time, I can be very skeptical, and I like, and I think it's fundamental to be a bit methodic. I have some kind of roots to pragmatism, because otherwise you become a woo-woo, and it's not my point. But at the same time, exploring all the unknown and unexpected facets of reality is just fascinating and so exciting. And so it encompasses being a ghost, UFOs, energy work, anything that is related to forces that are beyond human control or human apprehension, you know, but at the same time that are completely part of us. So yeah, it's just I'm always passing on to this kind of things. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sybil, for speaking with me. It was a pleasure, and I hope everyone enjoys the work as much as I did, even in these dark, difficult times.
Thanks for your time, and it was nice to chat with you.